All right, so this is our first seminar. Welcome, everybody. Today I am going to be talking about stress from school. We obviously all experience it or have experienced it in the past. I'm sure as U of T students uh, get a lot of assignments, a lot of tests, and that can be overwhelming. So I'm going to start talking about how stress manifests in our lives. So one of the ways can be panic or anxiety attacks, and these can come in many forms. So sometimes you'll just feel like you have a block. Other times you'll show a physiological response. So you'll start like shivering. You might start sweating. You might have shortness of breath. There are many ways in which panic attacks can manifest themselves. Again, there are physical responses such as hyperventilating, sweating, rapid twitch movement. There are emotional responses such as crying, anger, recklessness, burnout. Burnout is a very important topic to talk about simply because with all these things happening in our lives, burnout can occur really easily, and it's very important to find balance. And I will talk about finding balance later on in this presentation, so don't think I'm just saying like, oh, find balance and not gonna explain it. That's not the point of this. Recklessness can occur in many forms. So maybe, I don't know, you're feeling overwhelmed and you, instead of assuming your responsibilities, you completely get away from them. And maybe, I don't know, you go on a binge of whatever. It could be start watching Netflix nonstop and you don't actually want to do your assignments, or you just go on a drinking binge. And like, it happens, we're university students, but it's important to remain accountable. And then through action, so again, affected eating habits. Maybe when you're stressed, you eat more, maybe you eat less. I personally eat less because I'm like, okay, I need to finish this assignment. I don't have time to eat, which is a very unhealthy habit. I should be planning the times when I'm going to be eating, because how long does eating actually take? It takes like 15 minutes max. Preparing the food, let's say I pre-prepared it, it takes like 2 hours for the week. 2 hours for the week is it's not that much. Sleeping habits, so you might sleep less, you might sleep more to just avoid the problem. Lack of balance. Again, balance I'll explain later. Too many breaks or take very little breaks. So again, I have the problem of taking very little breaks. Some people have the problem of taking too many breaks to just avoid the problem. It's procrastination. So now I'm going to ask you guys, how does stress look like for you? Is there anything that we talked about that you'd like to bring up? Or maybe there are some things that we didn't talk about, and you can also bring that up. You don't have to raise your hand, by the way. You can just talk.
I know a lot of my family members, when they're stressed, they eat so much food. But me, like growing up seeing that, I do the opposite. So when I'm stressed, like I will like starve myself for days on end, and it's pretty bad.
Is there like an underlying reason to that, or is it just because of the stress? Like, is it because you need to like complete like certain tasks before you can eat, or is it like, is eating like a reward system? This is getting like a little bit deep. You don't have to answer it if it's too personal.
Nah, it's more like if I'm stressed, I just avoid food entirely. Like if I have
Hmm.
snack in my bag, I just won't, like I somehow like forget about it, and then like after some test or assignments over, I'll wake up so starving, and that's when I'll realize like skipped meals again. Like shit, you know.
Yeah, I kind of get that. Anyone else?
Somewhat similar. I don't eat, and usually it's just like uh, eating is not as important as the assignments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Simply
completely
that.
get that.
Simply that. Like I can't waste my time cooking food while I can do my assignment. So assignment comes first and then food.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I need I don't eat a lot myself, like generally, but usually I set myself, like, I don't know, for me, breakfast, for example, it's very important. Like, I cannot live without it. And that's the reason that gets me out of bed in the morning. Afterwards, maybe I won't eat for lunch, but then dinner, it's sacred, bro. Like, you sit there, you have your time, and you need to find yourself a time for yourself. And mine, it's, as I will give as well the presentation in the later weeks, it would be, for me, food, it's has no value. Like, it has like no it's, how do you say that? Just, I cannot live without it, let's say. So yeah, I think it's eating. Maybe you don't eat as much, but I think it's good to set yourself with some, at least, like, I'm gonna eat that point and that point of the day, and it's good. Even if you maybe you just do something quick, or like some sandwich, as David does all the time. I can certify that, and that's
I've
pretty fun.
saturated myself with sandwiches. Like, that's almost like the only meal I eat, which is not good. Like, you need to have a variety. That's one thing I forgot to mention. Like, when you're eating, have some variety. Don't only eat the same thing. Otherwise, even physically, you're not going to be getting all the nutrients that you need to.
At the end of the day, like, a simple pasta doesn't really take as much. Like, you just put the water to boil. You study in the meantime, and when you get, like, you put down the pasta in the water, and you just add the sauce. At the end of the day, it doesn't really. You just need to. You don't even need to look after it. Like, you just set it yourself. Like, the water boils, then you say it, you study, then you just. I think even making a pasta is not that hard. Then if you want to make something more complicated, then yeah, I guess it gets more kind of time consuming. But I guess it's worth it, I guess.
Yeah. Anyone else want to share any ideas, experiences? Maybe now you found a way to, like, balance stress. Maybe you went through something.
I know for me personally, when I'm really stressed, I get like really, really bad headaches. And what tends to happen is you get into this cycle of, like, you'll get the headache and then you won't be able to work because you need to rest. But then the stress of not working makes you even more stressed. And so, by the time you finally recover, it's just, so much of the day is gone. And, I find that, it's much easier said than done, but really do have to find ways to, break that stress cycle, because you're never going to dig yourself out of it by worrying even more.
Exactly. I see, like, most of us in this group, even in the chat, it's just forgetting to eat. That's the main one. And I guess that's something that, like, resonates with U of T students. Somebody should perform, like, a study on this. That would be really interesting to see the different responses.
How much weight is lost during U of T years?
How much weight is
compared to second and third? That would be actually interesting to see.
That would actually be really, really interesting. Really, really interesting.
How people gain instead lose. That would be a nice way to understand how U of T is stressing for students.
Oh, somebody says.
I remember Miguel last year. He told us he lost so much weight because he thought, like, I'm gonna be online, so I'm not gonna move that much, and so I'm not gonna eat as much. And I did the same thing by myself personally, but I got to really bad weight, and then it's hard, like, for someone that doesn't eat a lot, and then to get some weight on, that takes time. It's not that you can, like, just eat anything you just see on your way. You need to gain it in a healthy way, let's say. And
yeah, I see somebody in the chat also mentioned that they find comfort food. So I'm assuming, like, I don't know, maybe you go out or you get like fast food, pizza. Yeah, I mean, comfort food sometimes helps. It's like an extra motivation boost. Maybe not every day, unless you have, like, the financial means.
For me, it's more like I like to bake. And so, like, I bake, like, a lot. Like, last night I baked like 20 cupcakes. obviously I can't eat all 20 myself, so like the people around me get, food, and they're very happy about that. But I'm like dealing with a lot inside, and like everyone's just like, "Ooh, cupcakes."
If you're not gonna eat those cupcakes, you can share them with us.
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
Oh, yes.
Um,
I'm joking. Okay, so anyways, I think unless somebody has another thing to mention, I think I'm gonna move on.
I was just gonna ask, whoever said they bake a lot, do you bake like as a hobby as well, or only when you're stressed?
I think it's a hobby now. I think, I think it's a hobby.
That's good. I guess turn it into something positive. I'm trying to do the same thing with like studying, so just wondering.
Yeah.
All right. So where can stress come from? In terms of school, it can be your grades. So maintaining a certain average, at least for me, I find is one of the main stressors on my life. Just having that number, and it's unfortunate because a lot of graduate programs and even jobs require you to hit in like a certain bracket, so your kind of like your aptitude, your capabilities are defined by that number. Recently, these graduate programs and jobs have taken a more holistic approach, so it's not only your grades, it can be your extracurriculars as well, but your grades are very impactful. There's deadlines, so again, if you have so many deadlines all at once, you're afraid you won't get them done, or you might miss some, and then it's kind of like the fear of missing out, like fear of missing out on a grade. If you don't hand in a certain assignment, and let's say you don't get the best grade just because you have so many other assignments.
I think so. He freeze for me. Like he's just freeze.
Yes, brother.
Scarborough Connect.
Can you guys still hear me? Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Alright, perfect. I think even my slides got messed up.
Hi. Sorry I'm late. I just got home from work.
No worries. Absolutely no worries. We're just resuming here. So I was talking about deadlines. I don't know if you guys heard my point on deadlines, but at one point when you have a deadline, and let's say you miss a deadline, it's almost that like fear of missing out on the grade that stresses you the most. It's like, oh damn, I have so many things, and maybe I could have done better on this one assignment if I wouldn't have had so many things, or maybe you didn't get to hand in that assignment, and you're just like, damn, like even if I would have handed in that assignment, I would have still gotten a certain percentage, and my grade wouldn't have dropped. So that's one of the things. Feeling inadequate, lacking confidence. This is one of the things we'll talk about later on, but feeling inadequate from grades, from not being able to fulfill all those deadlines. It happens, like that's just how the system is. Unfortunately, we're in a system where we put a lot of emphasis on that numerical value towards your performance. Oh, you guys cannot see the slides. Damn. I guess I have to share the screen. Damn, my bad, guys. My bad. Imposter syndrome. Yeah, exactly. Let me just share the screen. Sorry about that, guys. Stress from having technical difficulties on Zoom. That's one of them. Joking. Social anxiety. So let's say you're going to a class and there are just a lot of people. Sometimes you will feel anxious just from the amount of people. Even now, after COVID, we're still kind of in COVID. There's still cases of COVID. There's still that fear of like getting the virus. And then future goals. Thinking about the future. That's one of the main things that can stress you out, because the future is so uncertain. You don't necessarily know like what's gonna happen in the future. For all you know, like tomorrow somebody could walk to your door and say like, "Hey, you look like a model. I'm gonna take you to New York Fashion Week." The opposite can happen too. You're walking on the street and like a bus hits you or something like that. That's kind of a harsh example. I don't mean to like stress you guys out. It's very rare for that to happen, but I'm just saying life is thinking about the future too much can stress you out. So we need to think about how do we maintain a healthy balance for that. But no, where does your stress come from? Yeah, where does your stress come from? Your main stressors from school, even from life, maybe family. I like that answer. U of T, that's your main stressor. Just U of T as a whole. You can speak without raising your hand. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm an international student, so like my tuition fees are like 60K a year. So it just feels like there's like a lot on the line. And like I'm in life science, so it's just very competitive. And I feel like I've tried reaching out and like making like friends and trying to find a study buddy, but I feel like everyone's very, at least the people that I've spoken to, they're very they're looking out for themselves, which is fine, but you know, it gets a little lonely and like a little stressful sometimes. And yeah, so I think my stress kind of mostly comes from school and basically from U of T. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a life science student. I think lots of us here are life science students. So I don't know what year you are, but we can definitely like, study together if you want. Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. The tuition fees for some students, especially international students, are insane. They're just absolutely absurd, in my opinion. You're paying literally like a BMW a year. I don't know if I should say it's worth it. I'm not sure. I think I would prefer the BMW. Self-hate and self-doubt. Yeah, that's one of the main things. That deals with confidence. That deals with self-love as well. Imposter syndrome. Yo, okay. Yeah, the internet here, I don't know. It's acting up. Like, I mean, we'll just have to deal with it. I'll just finish this up really quickly. I'm sure. So are there any other opinions on how stress manifests in your life? Where does it come from? We said U of T, we said self-doubt, we said tuition fees, imposter syndrome, grade. Any other ways? Nope. Okay, well, I'm just gonna continue to the last slide. Ways to manage stress. So, as you know, there are probably countless of websites and videos on how to manage your stress. These are some that I found. Obviously, we can suggest more. So the first one is talking to someone. First, you need to address the issue of the stress. What's the problem? Where is that stress actually coming from? Then making a plan. So like, I'll give an example. Let's say let's say you're doing poorly in a course and that's stressing you. You can make a plan on how to improve. So you can say, okay, I'm going to attend office hours. Maybe there are some additional resources such as seminars that you can attend to better yourself. Maybe every single day, let's say it's like math or something like that, you do a certain amount of practice problems. Maybe you watch videos on YouTube that better explain whatever the concept is about. Stuff like that. Taking a break, treating yourself. So that's very important. If you're working nonstop, that's going to cause burnout. Like, it will. Eventually, you won't see like any point of life. You'll just be like, okay, I'm just working. What's the point? You know, life is not only work, it can also be play. Focus on finding resources. So asking for help, that's one of the main things that lots of people struggle with. And that also comes with social anxiety. But asking for help, once you make that first step and once you get out of that comfort zone to ask, I'm telling you, that's going to be so beneficial for you. Asking professors, asking friends, asking mentors, whomever, even let's say like you're on the street or whatever and you need participants for a study. Maybe you just ask a random person on the street, hey man, can you be part of my study? That works too. Exercising, because at the end of the day, we're the fitness and mental health club. Exercising heightens the levels of endorphins in your body. Not only that, but you just feel good after an exercise. After working out, you feel like you accomplished something. You feel like you got a task out of the day, and you feel fulfilled because you know whatever you're doing, it's progress, and you're also doing it for yourself and you're being healthy. It can be a passion or a hobby. So, for example, I like playing soccer. I like making music. Check out the Spotify, guys. Can be hanging out with friends, just talking with somebody, being kids again, being adolescents, young adults. That's fine. One thing I will mention is refraining from self-medication or like overdose of anything. It can just be like binge drinking, binge watching on Netflix. Because then eventually, like, all the stuff that you're stressing about is just gonna pile up. Yeah. So now this is the last slide. I'm gonna ask you guys, how do you manage your stress? What do you guys do personally?
I keep a journal.
That's good. Is it mainly
I
like?
plan.
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. Ask.
Oh, I was gonna ask. Is it mainly to like keep you on track, like setting a schedule, or is it just recounting what happened in the day and sort of reflecting on it?
I guess it's kind of like reflecting on like my own personal thoughts, because I have an agenda to keep track of things.
Okay. That's actually a very good strategy. Somebody in the chat said try to have some wellness hours every now and then. Cooking, cleaning, working out. Yep. Those are all very good options. Plus you're getting stuff done. You're being very productive when you're doing that. So there's no reason to feel guilty. Anyone else? I think Armin, you were gonna.
Yeah, so I just usually my stress is for school, so I just plan it like what I'm gonna do exactly every day. Usually during midterms, and then I call my mom and tell her what my plan is, which makes it stick to my head. And then I get off the phone and I study, and it always works.
Yeah, that's actually really good that you reinforce whatever you plan. It's engraved in your mind, especially with somebody that I'm assuming you trust your mom, so somebody you trust. Nice.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I do that too. Anyone else?
Yes, at the end of the day, just recognize that, you're only human and you can only do so much in a given day. So, as you said before, just be kinder to yourself.
Exactly. We are humans here. We're not robots. We're not designed to work nonstop. Even robots eventually break down.
Even if U of T is thinking that.
Even if U of T is thinking that we should be working nonstop. I mean, I doubt whatever they say in their policy says that, but you know, sometimes. From all the assignments. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, the editing week was studying week at the end of the day. It was just like I worked every single day from the start of it. So
U of T, if you're watching this, please.
yeah,
We appreciate your assignments, but at the same time, we kind of need a break too. So
yeah. What I do to manage stress, I go walking in a supermarket. Even if I don't need to buy anything, I just like to. I'm a weird person. I just look at food and think about possible recipes to do.
I think your life just revolves around food.
Kinda.
That's good. That's okay.
But yeah, I think I don't know. It's for me. It's relaxing. I like to see lots of food all together. Just I don't know. Makes even if I'm not eating or anything, it just looks nice. I don't know. But yeah, everyone has its own thing. Either like cleaning as well, or like Sevilla said, or I don't know. Yeah.
Any last opinions? You guys could be changing, like making breakthroughs in stress relief. Maybe what we're saying here is gonna get published in a paper. You never know. We could be famous. Our anti-stress techniques. Nope. Okay, well then, in that case, I am going to conclude our meeting. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for participating. I hope you've gained some insight and you're less stressed now than you might be. Just remember, take a break. Thank you, whoever. Thank you so much. Miguel, do you have your camera? Yes, thank you so much, and I hope you guys do well on all of your exams. Don't forget to study, but also take breaks. Make sure. And remember, again, we're humans. We're humans. At the end of the day, we're not machines. So, thank you all. We'll have another seminar next week. I don't know who's presenting, but I'm sure it's going to be very insightful. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.